Hello, my name is John McAllister, and tonight I have a very special guest on the John McAllister Report. He's a local guy, went to Ohio State, studied, I think, respiratory medicine, and as a sidebar, he got into physical fitness, nutrition, uh, healthy living, exercise, and all these things, and gradually build up a program and clientele. And he has 13 workers in the building now. And Travis is part owner of one company, half owner, and full owner of another company, which you will see later on that streams across the bottom. Travis Thiel is from Upper Sandusky, graduated in 1999. I think 1 year before my oldest son did, played sports, and he's really taken physical fitness, nutrition, and all these things to the next level. I'm so impressed with our interview, so articulate and knowledgeable. And I'm going to have him on again in December and looking forward to that big time. So if you'd sit back today and listen to my interview with Travis Thiel from Upper Sandusky, Ohio. As I said earlier today in my introduction, my guest is Travis Thiel from Upper Sandusky, Ohio, and I've chosen him in my hometown, Upper Sandusky, great place to live. Travis graduated in 1999, right?
Correct.
How are you, Mr. Thiel?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Get this all going, I'll be all set. Yeah. But Travis, I was so impressed because I don't know a lot of stuff, but when I read all about your bodybuilding and physical fitness and training and all that, and I'm just so interested in it. Plus, I think it's really neat that you've taken your skills beyond just what normal people do. And some people stay in Upper Sandusky or Wyandotte County and do well. Some people leave and do well. And I would like to talk to you today about your whole program. And first of all, where did you get started? Now, give me a quick, how did you get started on this?
Well, the very quick overview is I've kind of had a passion for the fitness side of things ever since we were in sports, back, when we were old enough to start training for football and baseball and things like that, understanding that the weight training played a big part of that. But the evolution of that actually came when I was in college. I came down here to Ohio State and I started working out on campus and saw some success. It clicked for me pretty well. And people then just kind of started asking me, just friends, like if I could help them out. And, I was like, I can do that. So kind of put some things together, started helping some friends. I actually got certified to be a trainer while I was in college and kind of dabbled in that a little bit. I finished my degree in respiratory therapy and I actually worked at Riverside.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Let's go back. And did you go to Ohio State with intentions of getting into physical training and those programs, or did you go that was a sideline?
Yeah, that actually just ended up being kind of a sidebar. Like I said, I graduated. I actually went in first to be in education. And then once I got further into that, that really wasn't tripping my trigger too much. So switched gears, went in, finished a respiratory therapy degree, but all along still did my own training. And as that evolved, when I worked at Riverside, it was 3 12-hour shifts was full time. And then I had 4 days of nothing to do unless I was picking up extra shifts. So light bulb went off, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna start a training business and do this in addition to the days I'm not at the hospital. And then that's the short and dirty, but that, as they say, the rest is history. And then it kind of took off from there.
We'll go back real quickly then. What did you do? I'm curious. What did you do at the hospital?
So I was a respiratory therapist, and I was assigned majority of the time to the neuro ICU. So a lot of head injuries, brain trauma, that kind of thing. And then I worked ER quite a bit too. So let's suffice it to say that my horizons were broadened in the Riverside ER.
Oh my!
Learned a lot, saw a lot, and quite a difference. Not that Columus is the biggest city, but it was a little bit of a culture shock coming from Upper Sandusky to some of the things that I would see down there on a daily basis.
Oh my! And so now that almost as something else to do, you got into training then, right? I mean, you were. I don't mean that negative, but you almost something else to do. You've really expanded it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Good.
It was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it worked out well. It's a passion of mine, and I thought, I know how good this makes me feel when I do it. If I can help others, feel that, get to these different levels, achieve some goals, I felt like there was a lot of value to that, and I felt like there was a lot of things I could bring to the table to help people do that.
So, I have some good friends in Columbus that are trainers. In fact, when I ran my football camps and combines, I mean, it's a little different. I had to have both kind of trainers, but there's a guy, Chuck Gresham in Columbus, who's, he's like a son to me, and he's really into that training. I forget what he's doing right now. I think he's working in the pros in rehab or recovery, something like that. Recovery. And okay, let's go. A guy, 24 years old, comes to you and says, I want to buy into the program. What do you do with him then? Where does he start?
Okay, so the very first thing, and like you said, you gave me a demographic there. So no matter who it is, we do a Q&A, and I have a whole intake form that I require get filled out before we start a program.
Okay.
That tells me height, age, weight, previous experience, any injuries, any medical anomalies, medications. Kind of gives me the picture of what they have going on right now, so that I can put together the best possible program and make sure I'm not hindering something else along the way or exacerbating a problem that they may already have, if I throw something together not knowing that information. So the very first step is a intake form giving me the whole picture of who I'm going to be working with.
Right. How many people do you have helping you?
So on the fitness,
how many in your business, in your how many people are? Because I looked online. You have some. I know you know this, but you have some really qualified people working with you as well, right? I mean,
for sure. Yep.
Okay. I didn't want to mess up. So, what, 5 guys that are very qualified? I saw. Are there that many or what?
Well, we actually have out of my facility, we actually have 11 trainers, and you could choose to be on the website or not, and some chose not to, which is why that's not completely updated. But we have male and female trainers here, and yes, very qualified, and they all bring a little bit something different to the table, which is nice. Right. Different experiences, backgrounds, and different specializations, really.
That's really good. Okay, what's online coaching mean? You promote online coaching. What does that mean?
So online coaching, yep. So that is, that's been around a while, but man, that really got shot into the stratosphere when COVID hit, just because of the limitations of being able to get out and about. And obviously they closed us down for a while.
Yeah.
But online coaching is where I can communicate with you as a coach. I build a program for you, And basically, I may never see you in person. And quite a few of my online clients, I don't see in person.
Right.
We communicate via pictures, and we can do some of this. We can do some Zoom and some Loom and some of those other things. But basically, I put a whole package together for you. It starts with nutrition. So I put together a nutrition regimen. I put together a training regimen. I put together a cardio regimen, a supplement regimen. If you're interested in that, that's a little bit, dependent on the person. And then also a rest and recovery regimen. So basically, I cover all the bases of your fitness regime, and it is on you then to put that into practice, and then check in with me once a week. That's your accountability check-in, and that's also your adjustment check-in. So if we see something is a little bit of a miss from the last week, then we can make real-time adjustments and keep moving that forward. So to be completely honest with you, I love the one-on-one in-person training, but I only get 45 minutes with that person, and we're hammering out the weights, which is awesome. I love it. That's how I got started. But the online piece, where I get to cover all the bases and really take you from A to Z, that is like a home run for me. That it's fun, it's rewarding, it's hopefully of great value on the other end to the person doing it. But yeah, it covers all the bases, and kind of the beauty of that is the reach can be further. I don't have to see you in my gym, and we get to cover not just the weight training piece. We can put together the whole package, and then make it as well rounded as possible.
Well, that's really good. That's really good, especially the one-on-one. How often does a client come and see you and train, work out?
So I have clients that do once a week. I have clients that do once a month, and I have clients that do 5 and 6 days a week. So it just kind of your preference. Some people won't set foot in the gym unless they're with their trainer, which is fine. And others are like, give me a base. I'll touch base with you every now and then, but I can kind of hammer it out on my own, or maybe they have a training partner that they work with outside of the trainer, and they do that majority of the time. So that's really person dependent.
Right. That's really good. Okay. You're in Columbus, and I think if they Google you, I know that if you Google Travis Thiel and spell it IEL, that you're going to get there, right?
Right.
Okay. And I think that's so neat. I have two other little groups of questions. One, Travis, today's world, it's so hard. You get jobs, the good jobs and things like that. What do you suggest for high school seniors right now that are looking? Why would this to go on to college real quickly? Why is this attractive? Why would you encourage this?
For one thing, we as a society are in the worst shape that we've ever been in our lives.
Yeah.
The obesity rate from kids all the way up to adults to the elderly is getting blown out of proportion. The numbers are just off the charts. The health perspective, I think, is really coming to a point where there's going to be a big shift, because right now we don't.
I hope so.
We're all reactive. We go to the doctor when we're sick, or when we're already need medicine or something like that. But what we're starting to find is that's not cost effective at all. That's costing us as a society billions of dollars a year. Plus, the quality of life for people. And even, John, I see it every day. Kids, my son's 12, so we're at little sporting events all the time. And, kids can be overweight, and I'm not knocking that, but I mean, I'm talking obese as kids at 8 years old. And that's a real problem. I mean, that's a real problem. So if you're coming out of high school and you have any aptitude for people and a passion for fitness, the sky, I do believe, is going to be the limit on that, because you could do something like the route I took and have a gym and do personal training. There's corporate wellness out there. There's many more companies hiring people to put a structure in place for their employees to stay healthy, and be healthy, and even learn how to be healthy. So the fitness realm, and health and fitness obviously closely related, that is set for explosion in the next 10 years. in
I
my
hope so.
opinion. When we're seeing it on an uptick now, and the bad part of that is it has to get to the extreme on the other end for this to become that much more important. So we're hitting that extreme unhealthy and overweight demographic hard. I mean, that is a big problem. So obviously the inverse of that is bringing together, a plan or starting to revamp something that makes that problem maybe not go away completely, but at least takes a big, puts a big dent in it. So I do feel like there's a lot of opportunity there coming out of school.
That's really good. And not just Ohio State. Finley has programs now. A lot of schools have a physical training program. Not, it's the real deal, just like you guys in Columbus have.
Right.
I mean, it's work. And I want to make a comment, and it'll make everybody mad. But I always think this: when you go into the hospital and the doctor says, you have cancer. Okay. Well, man, this person has cancer. It's just like it's not where I'm going, but yeah, you understand. But now if you go to the doctor and says, you're really overweight. Well, man, you can't say that to the patient. And I've always thought, but and they're being good. It's just what you're talking about, Travis. But you say, Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones, you're 40, you're 35 years old and you're really overweight. This is what you have to do. Well, they may not come back because they're mad because you said that.
Right.
We got to get over that.
I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of double standards out there, and it's like I actually use that same example that you just gave, that exact same one, a lot, because if you tell somebody they have cancer, obviously nobody wants to hear that, and you do not want that for that person, obviously, but they're going to take it and they're going to figure out what they need to do to remedy that. If you tell somebody their ailment or their illness is morbid obesity, now it's all about feelings. You've just hurt their feelings, and we don't view that as a disease or as a health detriment, which it most certainly is. So I'm with you. If we got to sidestep the feelings a little bit and get a little bit more real with what that is. And on the flip side of that, you can tell somebody they're skinny, and that's okay. But if you tell them they're obese, that's not okay. So it's kind of it's a paradigm shift there, a mindset that has to happen. And I am a tough love kind of trainer, and I'm going to tell you, if you come to me and you're that overweight, I'm going to tell you that. Now, obviously it's what I do, so it's a little bit more well received.
Right.
I'm telling you that because there is a sense of urgency that has to happen there. It's not something you want to continue doing. It's something you want to start to tackle now, because the longer your body has to, be held under that amount of stress, the worse is, the more health detriment you're going to have. So, but you're exactly right. I
wasn't trying to be funny. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Travis, I have one more area to cover, and I may get back with you sometime because there are other things I'd like to ask you, but podcasts are only, for me, go about 20 to 25 minutes, and we've already gone. And because, colleges are going crazy now with nutrition. I mean, the big college, like the Ohio States of the world, hire an ungodly number of nutritionists. And, when Urban's down there in Ohio State, if a guy didn't get his water, he may penalize him. I mean, of course, Coach Meyer's a little nuts, but he would penalize those guys. And I think there are rules a lot of schools have, Michigan State, Michigan, all these bigger. And the trouble is the MAC schools can't quite afford the luxury of that. And they do a good job. But nutrition is so important with young people. Okay? So important. And I don't think we pay attention to it in junior high and high school, nutrition. But here's the other thing. This is what I'd like to have you comment on. I think football seasons are won from December to July. That's where I've been around this stuff with the evaluations for 30 years. And so, but I think if we could really focus our kids on say, no, you start and give yourself some time off, December, and then start working. But that's where you comment on that for me.
Again, right on the money, a conversation I have almost daily with my young athletes and people. So kind of a double-edged sword there. The nutrition one, yes, 100%. It's where it all has to start. And that's part of what I was talking about with the kids. You know, give your kids the best chance to learn how to eat healthy and be healthy so they're not fighting that battle their whole life. You know, they learn what they live. And if you're not giving them the right direction, for sure, they're going to have a longer, harder road ahead of them. But like you just said, you know, you're obviously you're a coach, and like you said, you can school me and all of that. But that prep in that off season, when you're putting the right fuel in your body, you're getting that strength training in, you know, and you're priming your body to go into your football season where you know you're running at sports car mode, right? You've had the best fuel, you've had the best tuning. Now you get in there, and then you can focus on the technical stuff and the skills, and you're going to be that much more efficient right out of the gate.
Oh my, you're so and instead of going out there in August and trying to survive,
right,
and worry about surviving, you're going out there and say, hey, I'm a bad dude, I'm ruling the place. You know, I it's so hard. It's so hard to convince kids that. Bigger schools, maybe not so much. The Upper Sanduskys of the world, sometimes that's hard to do.
Sure.
And, I appreciate it. What's your best advice to give to young athletes, male or female?
So my absolute best advice is exactly like you just said. So nail your nutrition. Pay attention to your nutrition. Yeah. Obviously, your coaches, and you're going to go to these seminars, and you're going to go to camps, and you're going to go to things where they're going to teach you the technical side of it. You know, even the weight training, you know, you have coaches for that most likely. You know, they'll help you through that. But if you can nail your off-season nutrition and your recovery, do not burn the candle at both ends and think you're going to go out there and perform like you would if you had the proper rest and the proper sleep, you know, these things. So the two biggies that get overlooked the most, nutrition, proper rest. If you can get that together and then couple that and make yourself the best well-rounded athlete and physical specimen, I think that's where you're going to excel and leave some of these others maybe in the dust, so to speak.
I forgot about recovery. Next time we'll talk about recovery will be one.
Okay.
Travis, I remember you as a 12-year-old Little League baseball player, I think. Mm-hmm. Was it Don? No, McCarthy's?
McCarthy's, yeah, exactly. Yep.
I helped coach that team with Coach Reddick, and I remember you guys. And we started out as a franchise team, didn't win much. Second year, we won quite a few. And the last year, you had gone, but I think we were undefeated. So you were part of that program.
I remember those days vividly.
I will get back with you. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh,
in fact, I may sneak in to your facility sometime.
You're welcome. Well,
thanks,
Travis. Check it out.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
appreciate it.
Thank you.